Return now to our political panel. Vedant Patel, former State Department spokesman for the Biden administration. Kevin Sheridan, long-standing and well-regarded Republican strategist, former RNC spokesman. Both good to see you.
Good to see you.
I want to get to several things on the domestic front, but first, any thoughts you might have, and Vedant, I will start with you, about what we saw today in Ukraine, peace negotiations, Moscow, and the like.
Look, I think we have to take a little bit of a step back here, and I'll evoke not even a Democrat, but another Republican, Senator Mitch McConnell, who was very clear over the past couple of days that the United States, in the context of Ukraine, in the context of what's happening right now, should not and is not a neutral arbiter in this. And I think President Trump, Secretary Rubio, all of these guys have been acting as such, and I think that's incredibly problematic. Russia is the country that invaded Ukraine. Ukraine is the country that is fighting for its survival. It's really as simple as that. We all want to see this war end. We all want to see this come to a close, but it needs to have Ukraine at the table, and they really need to be the ones in the driver's seat about how this should all play out, not the United States and not Russia.
Kevin?
Well, we weren't and there was a bit of arbiter with Israel and Hamas, so I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think he's sending in Witkoff again to rescue a peace deal. And look, if this group can't do it, it probably can't be done. And we know Vladimir Putin's going to be very tough to get to peace on this. But
how about
they're close? They're very close.
How about the lever that the president has always had, which is to turn to Congress and say, you have a sanctions package, you have the votes, go ahead so I can prove to Putin I mean what I say about pressure to come.
Well, hasn't the problem with sanctions been that they just turn to China and the BRIC nations and get around them?
Brazil, Russia, India, China.
It's splitting Russia and China is probably a bigger geo threat, than anything right now. But yeah, sanctions are on the table. Trump has mentioned them. He might go back to them if he's not getting what he wants out of Putin. But look, if these guys can't do it, I don't think it can be done.
Kevin, I want to talk to you about the Obamacare tax credits. The White House yesterday, it sounded like, and much of the reporting, ours and others, were they were preparing to announce something. Then came a call from the House Speaker, Mike Johnson. White House, don't move. My membership is not interested in this issue. Back off. And appears, at least for the moment, the White House has backed off. How do you evaluate all that?
Yeah, they're in a tough spot here because...
Who is? The House or the White House?
All Republicans everywhere because, 15 years ago, Democrats broke health care, made it not affordable for premiums, not affordable for deductibles. They're in a really tough spot. They keep having to bail this program out. We're going to have to do it again somehow before they make major changes to the program because it's fundamentally broken. That's just the facts. And I don't think Donald Trump or any red state Republican that's got a lot of people on Medicaid is going to, in the end, want that to, crater rural hospitals and care for their constituents because a lot of them are on Medicare and they're going to have to find some sort of solution, but it's not easy.
Vedant, you heard the Kentucky governor say on this program not a few minutes ago, it's not just this issue, it's what happened in the big bill.
Absolutely.
The president says beautiful and otherwise, but he says there are implications for that quite separate from this, and you put them together, it's a hurting.
Totally. This is also a president who, and a White House, candidly, that has attempted, at least over the course of the 24 campaign, to make affordability the centerpiece of their economic message, and perhaps rightfully so. But I think the bigger issue here is that most Americans who have to use the exchange, who have to use the Affordable Care Act, find it beneficial. Most Americans really rely on these subsidies to help get them across their monthly budgets, across the finish line. And really, we got to find ways to make healthcare, groceries, all of this stuff more affordable, and these tax subsidies are a key way of doing that. We can have debates about other healthcare systems and mechanisms, sure, but these subsidies are lifelines to people across this country, people who probably voted for this president.
And Kevin, to your point from a moment ago, I covered Obamacare as it went through Congress every step of the way. I covered what it was promised and everything. And it increased those who were covered, but it did not address the cost of that coverage. Republicans have had many, many times to legislatively craft something else, and yet they haven't. It's a 15-year track record of opposition, but no alternative. When will the day come that Republicans have not only an alternative that fits on a piece of paper, but they can find the votes for in both chambers?
You're not wrong, but it is the Democrats' health care plan, and Republicans just haven't had an idea of what to do about getting market forces into it, driving down the costs. and doing anything that's sustainable. So they keep just having to throw money at the problem. It doesn't help that we have 20 to 50 million people here illegally that take advantage of our hospitals and Medicare system. So, look, there's a really tough problem. Get more people out of the country, I think, is one answer. But yeah, there's
immigration crackdowns.
Yeah. Continue.
If over the course of the past 15 years, there's not really been a better alternative to the Affordable Care Act, I think that that speaks volumes about just how
Does that speak
useful
volumes
and
about the
fruitful.
power of insurance companies or about the difficult policy choices you have to make?
I think both. I think there are difficult policy choices to be made.
And the insurance companies are very powerful.
And certainly insurance companies.
Because they have all the incentive structure to maintain
absolutely.
Obamacare as it
But
is.
this is a system that, as you said, it has expanded coverage. It has helped save lives. It has helped Americans out who otherwise would have to pay thousands and thousands of more out of pocket for basic medical services. And so what really we need to do is figure out how are we going to make these things more affordable, starting with the subsidies, but also just these downstream healthcare costs.
Very quickly, yes or no? Do you think this gets resolved before the end of the calendar year?
Yeah, before the deadline.
Before December 31st?
I think they're going to have to at least bridge something for a temporary period.
I sure hope so, because shutdowns are bad for everybody.
But that's not a shutdown question. It's an ACA extension question.
Yeah, look, I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
Shutting down
Vedant Patel.
Medicare would be a problem.
Kevin Sheridan, thank you very much.